Alright, good morning everyone. This lesson we're going to cover multiplication strategies and different ways that you can understand the different count bys. So we're going to start with a known count by that we've already talked about, and then we're going to add on to that. So I'm going to give you an example of a multiplication problem. We're going to have 6 times 6. Now, we already know our 5 count bys, so we're going to start with the 5s, and then we're going to count up to 6. So we're going to start by 5 and go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Because we know 5 times 1 is 1, 5 times 2 is 10, 5 times 3 is 15, 5 times 4 is 20, 5 times 5 is 25, 5 times 6 is 30. Alright, now, what we need to do is now count by 6 from our last number that we left at. So we left at 30, so now we're going to add 6 more to that. So we have 30 plus 6. And we know 30 plus 6 turns out to be 36. Alright, so that means that 6 times 6 is going to equal 36. Alright, now we know that 6 is also a multiple of a number that we've already talked about. So 6 is twice the amount of 3. Now we've already talked about the 3 count by, so we're going to use doubling with our multiplication for this one. So I'm going to go ahead and erase all of this stuff right here. And now we're going to continue with the 6 by 6, 6 times 6. Let's do it a different color for you. Alright, and now what we're going to do is we're going to focus on the 3's, because we already know our count by is by 3. But we know that 6 is 3 doubled. So we have 6 times 6, which is 3 doubled, right? So we have 6 times 3, and then we need to do it one more time. So we have, if we add the two numbers together here, sorry, we're not adding those right there. We're going to add these two numbers right here, and 3 plus 3 we know is 6. Then we're just going to keep our other number over here the same. We're going to see what we come out with. Alright, so we know that 6 times 3, we know we're going to count by 3. So we got 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. So 6 times 3 is 18. We'll do the same over here. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. Alright, now what we have to do is we have 18 plus 18. We know 8 plus 8 is 16. 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3. So I'm going to guess that 6 times 6 is 36. And we already know from our last time that that was correct. Okay, now we're going to try a different way. We're going to continue with our 6 times 6. But we're going to try to come up with 2 multiples that we already know that we can use to equal up to 6. Just like we did the last time, how we had 3 and then did that twice because 6 is 6 is 3 twice. So now what we're going to do is we're going to find 2 different multiples that we can use. So for the sake of time, I'm just going to pick 4 and 2. So I'm going to have 6 times 4 and 6 times 2. Alright. Now, we know that we're just going to leave the first row of numbers by itself. Alright, so we know that that's going to be 6. Alright, now we have the second row of numbers and we need to add them together. So 4 plus 2 is 6. So ultimately, this should be 6 times 6 as well. All right, so let's go 6 times 4. We know that 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. All right. Now, 6 times 2, we could just either do 6 twice, or we could do 2 6 times. So let's count by 2s. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. All right. Now, I'm going to add these two together. Let's do yellow. Kind of hard to see, but... All right, so we have 4 plus 2, which is 6, 2 plus 1, which is 3. So once again, we get 36 as our answer. Okay? Now, that was 3 different ways that you could use a multiplication strategy to find your answer. So we first started with, and I'll erase this so I can write it down for you. We first started with a known count by, then added on. So, start with known count by, then add on. That was one way. Alright, the second way we talked about was using known multiplication and doubling. So use known, and I'm just going to do the x for multiplication and doubling. Alright, and the third way that we just talked about was combining 2 known multiples. So combine 2, and I'm going to do the x for multiples. Alright, now there's one more way that I wanted to show you of how you could use your multiplication strategies, and that's by using a drawing. Alright, so we're going to use our array drawing that we've talked about before, and we're going to do 6 times, we'll do 6 times 6 again. Alright, so I know that if I have 6 times 6, I know that my drawing needs to show 6 groups of 6. Alright, so I'm going to go with, let's do groups of students. So we're going on a field trip, and we have groups of students. We have 36 students going on the field trip. We need to have 6 different groups. So 6 different groups with a chaperone. So there's 1, that might be too big. Alright, we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, so we're separated into 6 different groups of students. Now, we need to have 6 different students in each group. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, now, to find out what our total answer is going to be, we need to count how many green dots there are. Alright, so we know there's, I'm just going to go over again with, let's just do red. So let's do a red line over each of the dots so we can count together. Alright, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. Alright, so we get our answer of 36 again. Okay? Alright, so in conclusion, we have 4 different ways that I just showed you of how we can use our multiplication strategies. We have the starting with a known count by and then adding on, using a known multiplication and doubling strategy, combining 2 known multiplications, and then also using a drawing to understand our multiplication. Okay? I'm going to give you an assignment now where you're going to use one of the 4 strategies, but I want you to use a different strategy for each problem. Okay? And as always, ask if you have any questions.